Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, across the country, Americans watched in horror as news stations reported the shooting of two sheriff's deputies in Los Angeles who were brutally targeted by a murderous, violent criminal. And in North Carolina, just 2 days earlier, Sheriff's Deputy Ryan Hendricks, the father of two young children, a man planning to get married, was murdered in cold blood while responding to a family under siege by an evil criminal. So far in 2020 alone, 37 law enforcement officers have been murdered by violent criminals, and hundreds have been wounded while protesting in their communities. Despite these senseless deaths and gruesome violence against police, there are those who support radical ideas like defunding and abolishing the police. These dangerous policies would allow criminals to roam free throughout our communities, unchallenged and unafraid. The agitators pushing to abolish the police have sown the seeds of discord in our country by disrespecting law enforcement and disregarding their brave service to our nation. Just look at Asheville, North Carolina. Since June the 1st, over 30 police officers have left the law enforcement profession. These brave men and women are tired of being attacked physically, emotionally, personally, simply for trying to keep their communities safe. Every single damn day, they put on a uniform to go protect their community, not sure if they're going to come back safe, and they do it anyway, and we owe them a debt of gratitude. But they're sick of the opportunistic politicians, like the Democratic leader and AOC, attacking them for just doing their jobs. Worst of all is the specter of targeted attacks like those against the deputies in Los Angeles. The harmful rhetoric being used by the radical anti-police leftists encourages an environment of hostility which emboldens criminals and murderers. The result is brazen attacks against law enforcement officers in broad daylight. In light of the toxic environment created in this country, which devalues police, I believe the Senate must act to protect law enforcement officers and show them our support. That's why I've introduced the Protect and Serve Act with 16 of my Republican colleagues. The Protect and Serve Act would punish criminals who target law enforcement officers and harm them. These criminals will receive up to 10 years in prison, and if they murder or kidnap a law enforcement officer, they'll get a life sentence. It's sad that Congress even needs to consider a bill to protect police officers, but let me be clear. Attacks of any kind against law enforcement officers are no laughing matter. Congress must pass the Protect and Serve Act immediately and boldly say that there is no escape from justice for dangerous criminals who intentionally assault or kill a law enforcement officer. Today, I call on every single Democrat to support this common sense legislation. The question to them is really simple. Do you support the men and women in blue who fight every day to keep our communities safe? Or do you support lawless, reckless, liberal mobs who want to defund the police? It's a yes or no question. You either back the blue or you back anarchy. As long as I'm a U.S. Senator, I'll do everything I can to protect the men and women who protect us in our communities every single day. I expect, and they deserve no less. I hope my Democratic colleagues can stand up to AOC, the squad, and their radical liberal base and do the same. It's time to back the blue. It's time to restore safety in our communities. It's time to end the killing of law enforcement officers and people just trying to protect us every single day. Thank you, Madam President. I yield the floor.